When does it become the Trump economy?
It partially is right now. I think the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy.
That is a level of delusion that could only come from somebody like Donald Trump. Imagine the CEO of a business having a disastrous quarter. I mean, they lose a bunch of money, and he says, hey, I'm only responsible for this amazing new hire that we made. I'm not responsible for the quarter-over-quarter losses. When you are the head of something, when you are at the top, everything falls on you. The owner of a restaurant can't blame somebody who is just waiting tables when something goes terribly wrong. The buck stops with you, and Trump apparently never learned that in his 80 years of being a businessman. But this interview is incredibly scary. There are a few clips where Trump clearly doesn't know what due process is. He doesn't know what the Constitution is. He lies relentlessly about gas prices and egg prices. I mean, I'm not even going to play some of these clips because I'm not just going to play clips of the president gaslighting you, but there is one clip where he claims that gas prices are $1.88. Let me know in the comment section, are gas prices $1.88 near you? I mean, I visited my family in Indiana and then drove back to Chicago, and I'm currently in DC for a conference. In none of these places has the gas been $1.88. It's been consistently above $3, sometimes even above $3.50 to $3.70. It just really depends on where I am. So again, don't let the president gaslight you. He has not all of a sudden changed the economy in any way. Actually, he has all of a sudden changed the economy, but only in negative ways. His massively unpredictable tariffs have only had negative effects on the economy. And let's watch this clip of him talking about CEOs who will raise prices. Here's Trump continuing to lie about the tariffs. By the way, make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe. I'm currently doing a video on the road. The breaking news never stops, no matter where we are. So let's watch this.
But what people don't understand is, and this is a lot, the country eats the tariff, the company eats the tariff, and it's not passed along at all.
Well, some CEOs are saying they're going to have to pass it on. So how do you deal with those CEOs?
But the company...
He just said it doesn't get passed along, then he said it may. But also, it necessarily needs to get passed along. If you're importing something for $100,000 to sell, but then there's a $100,000 tariff placed on it, that means the total price was $200,000 and you're gonna have to sell it for more if you ever wanna make a profit. And of course, businesses need to make a profit. Does he not get any of this?
It's not passed along at all.
Well, some CEOs are saying they're going to have to pass it on. So how do you deal with those CEOs?
But the company,
how do you deal with those CEOs?
China is eating the tariffs right now.
What do you say to those CEOs who are saying, we might have to pass this on to the consumer?
Well, they say that because maybe it's to their advantage to say it.
Will
Maybe
you punish them?
No, because you know what? I want them to build plants in the United States. That way they don't have any tariffs.
If you want them to build plants in the United States, you can do many other things. I mean, dude, Biden passed the CHIPS and Science Act, which was targeted towards semiconductors, but that incentivized so much manufacturing domestically because he created tax breaks, incentives, he created programs that work. What Trump is doing is pushing our allies away and trying to like big dick everybody and act like that works. It doesn't work. I mean, here's a thought. I don't have an economics degree from Wharton like Trump does. But if you want to rebuild manufacturing in America, number one, you need to leave a grace period of 12 months to 24 months for companies to actually import the supplies and begin building. You also need to create a strong, predictable environment so that capital investment can come into the economy to help build the manufacturing plants. If you're asking thousands of small business owners to build plants or whatever, it's not going to work. You need outside capital investment. There's never going to be outside capital investment, though, if you have an unpredictable ass economy, and that's what Trump has created. Let's watch this clip of them talking about due process. And Trump doesn't even understand the fundamentals of the Constitution here.
Everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
You don't have to be a lawyer to understand that the Fifth Amendment specifically says all persons have a right to liberty, not citizens. It specifically never says citizens. It says all persons.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says...
I don't know. It seems it might say that.
Don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work.
He just said he doesn't know if he has to uphold the Constitution.
By saying
what in the hell? Now, I debated about this in my recent Jubilee debate. Check out me talking about the Fifth Amendment.
Let me ask, do you think if someone's here illegally, they should still get due process and constitutional rights? Absolutely, they should get due process. Sure.
Yeah,
and under federal immigration law, the process that he is entitled to is to be deported.
No,
but he
not.
wasn't deported.
There was a withholding order of removal in 2019 from a judge, and that withholding order of removal said he cannot be deported to one country in particular. That one country was El Salvador. Now, not only did the Trump administration come out and say it was an administrative error, right? They said that, but then the Supreme Court in a 9-0 ruling said that the U.S. has to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia, not because they love MS-13. This is something I also want to get down. Do you guys think when I'm saying that Abrego deserves due process, do you think I'm defending MS-13?
No.
Or do you
Now,
think
this goes on to a separate conversation where Trump supporters always think that due process means you love MS-13, but I was making the due process argument here. Now watch this moment where I debate this Trump supporter on due process. Check this out.
If I cross into Mexico tomorrow and they deported me immediately, would you say that Mexico should give me due process?
Yes.
Wait, does Mexico have Article 5 of the Constitution, which says that not citizens, but
Wait, I said Article 5, but I meant Amendment 5. My bad. I meant Amendment 5, not Article 5.
persons? You know what Article 5 says?
So what you're saying is that everybody gets all of the rights under the Constitution. We have to apply our Constitution to everybody of the world.
No, in the
can you let Adam
U.S.
finish?
Okay,
Just
let me
anybody that
finish.
crosses over.
In the U.S., Article 5 of the Constitution
Amendment 5.
particularly specifically says that all persons in the United States have due process. Now, the framers put persons rather than citizens because it's not just citizens who deserve due process. All persons in the United States deserve due process. This has been upheld by multiple Supreme Court rulings. So what you're arguing for is creating a new class of people within America that have no due process whatsoever. What happens when you create a new class with no due process? You can justify putting anyone into that new class. What if I said that you were a gang member and I never gave you the chance to even defend yourself?
That's the key point right there. If you never get the chance to defend yourself or debunk it, then you're screwed. You're absolutely effed, and that's the problem. I have one more clip to play for you all of Trump ranting about the stolen election. Just listen to what he says here.
And when I gave it over, when I handed it over, the election was rigged, and because of that, we have a lot of problems, by the way.
I like how he says he handed over the election. He didn't hand anything over. We had to pull him out kicking and screaming.
And because of that, we have a lot of problems, by the way. But when I handed it over, what happened? The market was higher than it was previous to COVID coming in.
Yeah.
Nobody could believe it. The stock market I'm talking about.
I don't want to look back, but you did take your case to court about
look
that.
back.
You took your case to court about your allegations against the election. Let me ask you,
There's
sir.
no question about it. The election was rigged. The facts are in, and it's still being litigated. Let's go.
You did take your case to court more than 60 times and didn't win those cases.
I won a lot of.
He took more than 60 cases to court and lost every single one. He won one of the 63 cases, and it was because of a technicality where he got like 3 votes back. But 62 of the cases he lost, and then lost, and then lost. The judges wouldn't even hear the case most of the time because there was no reason to bring it. There was not enough merit to even bring this to court.
Just to button that up, though, sir. Just to button that up.
What are you talking about?
How
the election?
worried are you?
Are we talking about
No,
the election?
Let's
of
talk about
2020?
here and now. Let's talk about here.
By the way, what he's doing right now is completely trying to distract and deflect away from his current administration. When he brings it back to 2020, not only once, but throughout this whole clip, he brings it back to 2020 over and over and over. It's a deflection tactic. He doesn't want to answer for what he's currently doing. But that's why we're here. We will talk about what he's currently doing on a day-to-day basis relentlessly. If you enjoy this channel, drop a like. Say hi, Adam. I'll see you all in the next one, and peace out. And really quickly, I love my cat. He's this chubby orange dude who definitely thinks he owns the place, but he doesn't talk back. He's good at cuddling, and honestly, he's a little bit picky when it comes to food. If I give him the same food over and over, he'll shoot me the side eye. That is why I am thrilled that this episode is sponsored by Smalls. They have been revolutionizing the way that cat food works. There are no mystery meats, no sketchy chemicals, no overly processed meats, just purely transparent, fresh protein-packed recipes delivered straight to your door, and you'll know everything that's in them. It's incredibly healthy for your cat, and get this, 88% of cat owners saw health improvements after switching from their normal kibble to Smalls. So because you're a listener of the Adam Mockler Show, you get 35% off, plus an additional 50% off your final order. If you go to smalls.com and use code ADAM, ADAM, again, that is smalls.com, link in the description below, and make sure you type in code ADAM, say that we sent you, you'll get 50% off your final order, you'll get free shipping, you'll get 35% off certain products if you go down and use code ADAM. Your cat will thank you, and I appreciate you guys and Smalls. Now back to the episode.